Good morning.
Good morning.
Abby, good morning. Doing the live video. All right, so I'm gonna put you back on screen in just a second, but I want to get to the PowerPoint. Also, I have a YouTube channel. Did you guys get the message about that? Yes or no? Yeah, we all got the video? Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was on another screen. I was trying to do two things at once. All right, so finding. I apologize for not talking. I should be talking while I'm doing this, but sometimes it's not as easy for me to do two things at once. There it is. And can somebody tell me what page we left off on the endocrine system?
The slide about the glucagon.
Glucagon. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to go back into SlideShare so you guys can see where I'm at. All right. So we know that exocrine glands secrete outside, endocrine glands secrete hormones inside. Hormone means what, Miss Abby?
I forget, but I know that or no, it means excitement.
Yes, good. So this is a chemical that excites a target or excites an organ. Good job. And it does that by sending the information through the bloodstream or just through the extracellular tissue around the cell to get to the next cell. There's the location of all the glands. You'll need to know that for your PowerPoint. The two classes are non-steroidal hormones and steroidal hormones. And what's the difference between them? Lexi.
The non-steroid, well, they have like the first and then the second messengers.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the first messenger is to like bind them together, like bind the target cells like together and like have
Not quite, but almost. So when it has the first messenger, just remember that non-steroid is water-based. So therefore it can't go into the system without, it can't go into a target without a messenger to unlock it. So non-steroid is water-based and therefore can't break into the cell membrane. It needs a lock and key. And then the steroid hormone is made of fat and fat can melt exactly into fat without having a lock and key. But the second messenger in the lock and key is what sends the information directly into the, I'll show you the picture. There it is. After the lock and key opens, it opens your channel right here. It gets energy and then becomes and acts on other enzymes to create the excitement. In the first messenger system, it doesn't need a lock and key, although it looks the same. It's fat-based and therefore goes right through the membrane without any lock and key. And then it enters into the nucleus. The nucleus then receives the message and then makes a new protein based on that. Okay. Sophia, can you tell me one negative feedback loop?
Is negative feedback, is that giving birth?
No, that's the positive one.
Okay. And then negative is like warming yourself or cooling yourself down by sweating or getting goosebumps.
Right. So anytime we have a negative feedback, let's say our body says, oh my gosh, my sugar's too low. It sends a message up to the brain. The brain then signals the pituitary. The pituitary then sends a message back down into the bloodstream with a hormone to the pancreas. The pancreas then allows the body to release insulin. I'm sorry, release glucagon, which adds fat cells and energy into the system. So it's a negative feedback. When we don't have enough, our body goes, we have a problem, sends messengers to the brain sends messengers back down to the problem and fixes it. So that's a negative feedback. Positive feedback just simply keeps the loop going and going and going until the process is completely counteracted. And that's a negative, that's our positive. Prostaglandins, that's going to be important only in that you guys need to understand that they are tissues, they are hormones within tissues, and they only affect nearby cells, and it usually happens with respiratory problems like asthma, blood pressure problems. With Crohn's disease, people need extra hormones to help them get through their gastrointestinal issues and during reproduction to help the baby grow. All right, so we said there's 2 A and P, and there's 6 hormones that the interior has. What 6 hormones does the interior affect? Jackie.
Doesn't do like the like the
Oxytocin is
yeah, that one. I know oxytocin.
That's okay. Oxytocin is posterior.
Okay.
Oxytocin, posterior has 2, oxytocin and 1 more. So go ahead and finish.
Isn't that the growth hormone?
Growth hormone is anterior.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so let's just look right here at.
Yeah, other than the obvious.
We got 3 right here in front of us. Follicle stimulating hormone. So it stimulates the ovarian follicles and the sperm follicles. Luteinizing hormone. Again, that one is for during pregnancy. I'm sorry, getting prepared for pregnancy. So it actually matures the follicles. And then prolactin. This is the 3rd hormone that has to do with either body pregnancy or after pregnancy. So those are the 3 that are during pregnancy. Moving on to the next slide. Interior also, there's your growth hormone. So that is all cells, primarily bones. We also have thyroid stimulating and let me try that one more time. Adrenocorticotropic, easy for us to say, hormone, and that basically action is on our adrenal glands, and it releases the glucocorticoids, which is cortisol. And then we have the posterior, which is the antidiuretic hormone, and then the oxytocin, as Jackie pointed out. So that's what it looks like. Hypothalamus. I hope you guys can't see these things that are popping up. Sorry, are you guys with me here on the hypothalamus? My screen jumped ahead of me, I apologize. All right, so hypothalamus, remember this is the guy who produces, he's the record producer. He produces hormones, okay? So his major hits are antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin, and then it also does RH hormones, and it does IH hormones, which are releasing and inhibiting hormones. And the hypothalamus is the gland who operates temperature, appetite, and thirst. Then we did thyroid, which is T3, T4, and calcitonin. And the parathyroid, which is PTH, or parathormone, which acts opposite of calcitonin. Can we live without our parathyroids? No, we cannot. Job, Lexi, I saw that head shake. Adrenal. Okay, so we did adrenal as well, adrenal corticosteroid, and we said this was salt, sugar, and sex hormones. The salt hormone is aldosterone, and it's a mineral corticoid. The glucocorticoid is the cortisol. It also helps with, besides maintaining blood pressure, helps with anti-inflammatory, anti-immunity, and anti-allergy. Then lastly, the inner layer is the androgen for male and female. Mostly stimulates the sex drive in female, but the testosterone overpowers the sex drive in males. So salt, sugar, and sex there. And adrenomedulla was epinephrine and norepinephrine. And Pam, can you tell me what this system is? Adrenal medulla. Camilla? What system does that regulate? Do you get it? I can't hear you, honey.
No, I don't know what system it is.
What?
I don't know what system it is.
You don't know what to say. Okay, so tell me if I have epinephrine, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, its partner, running through my body, what's happening to me? What has happened to cause those hormones to be released?
Like circulation?
I'm still having a tough time hearing you.
Circulation.
It happens through circulation, and it's the fastest hormone. How about fight or flight? We get scared by something, or we're nervous about something that might happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So these guys, our body is stimulating these when we get scared or nervous, and our body starts heart pumping, and the eyes dilate, the stomach slows down, the urinary system slows down, and then norepinephrine helps our body to do the same. And these come from our adrenal gland, which sits on top of our kidney. All right. Did we talk about these guys yet? Melissa, have we talked about the pancreas? No? So did we not talk about these guys yet, the adrenal medulla? No? Okay, so that's why you guys are looking at me. You guys are all have like these blank stares on your face. So I apologize. So let me come back to the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands are adrenal. They sit on top of the kidneys. And when they sit on top of the kidneys, they control major things that happen because the blood system passes through the kidneys and then comes back to the heart. So it comes back very quickly. And so this is why the adrenals fight or flight system can happen so quickly, because of the blood system from the kidneys back to the heart. The other thing is the adrenal glands have two glands in them. The first gland is the cortex, which has 3 layers. The second gland is the adrenal medulla, which has just 1 layer. And that controls the epinephrine and the norepinephrine. I apologize, Camilla. I didn't realize that we hadn't covered this in detail. So I put you on the spot and made you real nervous, and that wasn't my intention. So let's go back to the adrenal cortex. The cortex, as I said, has 3 layers. And if I were to draw it, I will show you what it looks like. Maybe it's back one. Okay, here it is. On page 35 in your PowerPoint, the cortex is the outer layer, and it has 3 layers in it. And then the medulla, it's the one on the inside, and it covers fight or flight. Okay, and it's the most powerful, and the bloodstream happens from here more quickly than it does from the cortex, which is the covering. And again, as I said before, these guys are little triangles that sit on top of our kidneys. And I'm gonna go back. Those 3 layers, control on the adrenal cortex. They have 3 layers. The first one is the mineralocorticoid. The mineralocorticoid is a steroid that affects our salt and water flow within the body. Because where salt is, water is, right? Did we all agree upon that? We learned salt and water go together a long time ago. So aldosterone is the main, whoopsie, there it is. Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid that you need to know about. So the outer zone is aldosterone, outer zone aldosterone. And it controls our water and salt because it's a mineral. So that's what you want to write down for the adrenal gland. So because of its control, it also helps our body blood pressure to stay under control. And it influences, if it influences the amount of water in our body, it influences the kidneys to stop producing urine and holds that water in our bloodstream. The next layer is the glucocorticoid. And Melissa, can you look at that and just basically hearing the word glucocorticoid, what does it sound like?
Glucose.
What's that?
Glucose.
Glucose, absolutely. So this one controls the amount of sugar, okay? And it controls how much sugar is made, glucogenesis. And so this also controls blood pressure. It also controls the ability for our body to stop inflammation, stop an immune response, or an allergy response. I'm sorry, start one. My brain just went totally nuts there. I said it starts an anti-inflammatory. That's what I'm trying to say. So it produces the effect of our body reducing the inflammation in our system. So people who have inflammatory responses like, I'm trying to think, what happens with our joints when we get old, specifically inflammation of the joints. What's that called? Samantha?
Arthritis.
Huh?
Arthritis.
Yes, absolutely. So this particular hormone, glucocorticoids, helps our body, cortisol, to reduce the inflammation. And sometimes our body needs more help, so we take an anti-inflammatory medication, but this helps mild inflammation. And when I say anti-immunity, if we get a bee sting or an ant bite, our body can stop the reaction after a certain period. Okay, so that's what the glucocorticoid of cortisol. Anybody ever heard of hydrocortisone? A cream that you put on your body? This is a mild form of it that our body makes naturally. Okay, and then anti-allergy, that is if we're having a reaction that our body helps stop the allergy response. So a lot of times if it's just a mild allergy, like say during pollen season, you can go out and you can deal with a little pollen, you come inside, your eyes water, your nose runs, and you have some sneezing. And after a while that stops because you have a normal cortisol reaction. But we sometimes need help because those allergies can be pretty strong. So we have medications out there that are cortisol or a corticoid. Who has heard of Nasocort? Yeah, I see one head shaking. How about Flonase? Another one. Those are all anti-allergy medications that are corticoids or steroids that help our body. And so our body makes this naturally in small amounts, but sometimes we need extra help. Does that help you guys understand cortisol? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, I got you all. Thank you so much. All right, so now I'm going to move on. The third layer, which is the innermost layer of the cortex, not the medulla, the cortex, is the hormone androgens are made. And again, it's male hormone androgen, but our female body has it as well as the males. It's similar to testosterone, so therefore, in females, it encourages our sex drive. And in the males, it doesn't do much because they have testosterone as well, and they have a high level of testosterone, so that overstimulates them more than does the androgen. So simply said, androgen is a sex drive hormone. So therefore, the adrenal gland hormones are sugar, which is cortisol, salt, aldosterone, and sex, androgen. And that's all you need to know about those three. And I like this because sugar, salt, the three S's of the adrenal gland, helps me to memorize that one. Any questions? Nope. Okay, and then we went to the adrenal medulla, and I asked Camilla about this one. So the adrenal medulla is the middle, here it is, the middle of the adrenal gland, which sits on top of our kidney. And this guy produces epinephrine and norepinephrine. Epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. So this guy causes our body to fight or flight and stimulates our body to, and the nerve impulses to hasten our heartbeat. It increases our blood pressure. It dilates our eyes, increases our respiratory rate, and it decreases our intestinal movement and our urinary movement. Now, these guys are not essential for life, just for fight or flight. So we don't have to have these guys, but we do have to have the cortex. Let me try that again. The glucocorticoids of the adrenal cortex are necessary for life. I did say that correctly. You have to have salt, sugar, and androgens in order to live. You don't have to have adrenaline and norepinephrine, or epi or norepinephrine. Okay? Gonna move on. All right. What time is it? Okay. We're gonna get through the pancreas and then we'll take a break. All right. The pancreas has little guys in it called the pancreatic islets, or the islets of Langerhans. The islets of Langerhans was the most common phrase back in the day when I was in school. Everybody just now calls them the pancreatic islets now. So islets are little islands or clumps that are scattered among the pancreas. And they have two types of cells. The alpha cells, they make sugar. So they take the fat cells on our body and create sugar and push it into the bloodstream. So how I remember this is when our body needs sugar, alpha male, the alpha cells come in and take the fat and turn it into sugar very quickly. Then it takes that sugar and pushes it through the liver into our bloodstream very quickly. So when our glucose is gone, this makes more. Does that help you remember glucagon? Ah, you guys are so quiet. I want you to unmute yourself so I can hear you make some noise. Everybody unmute. Thank you. Okay, make some noise. Everybody get
Hi.
out themselves. Huh?
Hi.
What, Abby?
I just left.
You just laughing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the other major cell that's in the pancreas is insulin. Everybody knows about insulin, right? We all know that insulin helps us to break down the sugar that's in our blood. So you guys need to know that the two alpha and beta cells are antagonists. And what do we talk about antagonists being? How about Lauren? What is the word antagonist?
So isn't that like the first or no, the thing that like it starts something like I
Look
don't
right
know,
here.
like it
Look right here.
they work against each other.
There you go. So insulin and glucagon, they're enemies, all right? So when we have too much sugar in our system, insulin breaks that sugar down, stops the sugar production, okay? And that's why people who have diabetes need to take insulin because theirs isn't working. And we're going to get into that in a little more detail, but that helps you understand. And then glucagon is when our glucose is gone in our bloodstream, it helps to create more. So it takes the fat storage and produces more sugar when our body needs it. So if our pancreas is not working correctly, neither the A or B cells are working. So therefore, whatever sugar that we eat, our body can't break down, no insulin. And if we need more sugar, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we can always eat more sugar. We just usually can't break down the sugar in our body as well. Okay.
That's why your soulmates were leaving when she was in the hospital. But we're not functioning.
Somebody's mom's chatting. It's okay. I don't mind.
No, she's talking about my grandma because my grandma has diabetes, and she said I learned so much by all the hospital stuff.
Oh, okay. So here's the deal. If a normal amount of insulin is secreted by the beta cells, then the glucose will easily enter into and be metabolized in the blood. So what you guys need to understand about insulin and blood sugar, our normal rate is 70 to 100 milligrams of glucose per 100 milliliters of blood. You're like, what? All I want you guys to know is that the blood glucose level has to maintain at a 70 to 100 to be normal. So if you guys poked your finger right now, and if we were in class, we would do this, you would see what your blood sugar level is. And most of you will have a normal blood sugar level, and it should be right around 80. The normal average human has a normal blood sugar of about 80. So anywhere between 70 and 100 is what we want it to be. So if we have too much insulin, drops our blood sugar level and therefore hypoglycemia. Hypo means what? Let me pick on Abby this time.
Wait, what was the question again?
What does
Sorry.
hypo mean?
Doesn't it mean below?
Yes, good job. And therefore, hypoglycemia, gonna pick on Sophia.
Is it like it drops your sugar amount like less?
Absolutely. So insulin is secreted by the blood. If too much insulin is secreted by the pancreas, we can have hypoglycemia. And sometimes this happens during pregnancy. Sometimes this happens during an average day. Some people are just borderline hypoglycemic, and that causes them to have, they get faint or they get pale and a little sweaty. And so they know they need to eat some sugar or eat some food to make some sugar. So that's hypoglycemia. Then we have the opposite effect when we don't have enough insulin and therefore, or maybe the pancreas doesn't work at all. And that would be called hyperglycemia, because if the insulin isn't being produced, we have too much sugar in our bloodstream and can have hyperglycemia. And hyper means above or greater than, glyce is sugar, and emia means in the blood. So too much sugar in our blood. And most often we see this in people with diabetes. Now, there's two different kinds of diabetes. And what you guys need to know for the pancreas is it's diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. So this is one of the infections, I'm sorry, not infections, one of the processes of the body that you're going to have to look up, one of the disease processes, diabetes mellitus, okay? So the pancreas serves as both an exocrine gland and an endocrine gland. So here is the pancreas, and it sits just next to the stomach and below the liver, and it connects through this duct right here, and it works in contact with the liver and the gallbladder right into the small intestine. Okay. Boom. I'm gonna go over diabetes in just a little while in more detail. Okay, guys? And next one is the gonads. The gonads in the female are called the ovaries, and it's the female sex glands. They secrete hormones called estrogen, progesterone. So estrogen are in the ovaries and the ovary follicles. The follicles are little pockets in which the eggs or ova develop. Wait, I said we were going to take a break, didn't I? Let's do that. Let's come back at 9:15. You guys can stay on the channel or come back in, whichever you want to do. I just am going to stop the share here real quick. And I'm going to pause our video. You all take a good 15 minutes and I'll see you back at 9:15, okay? Adios. Hi, Zena. Hi. Up here. Up. Can you come up? Want to say hi to my girls? Hi. Come here. Trying to get my dog to come say hi to you guys. Hi, Wriggles.
Did you say dog?
Yes, I have 2 of them.
Can I see him?
Sure.
Or just one, it's fine, but
Hold on.
yes, Mackenzie.
Mom.
The little one
Oh.
is running away. Come on. Inside. Come here. Come see Mama. Come. Up, up, up. Let's see. Come here. Up, up. Up here. Come on. Oh, get up here.
So I thought they would be small.
There's Zena. She's 80 pounds and I just lifted her.
Jeez.
You want to get down now? Okay. Bye. I'll get the little one. He's running away. Okay, fine. Bye, buddy. My little guy's like, oh no, we're not doing this, Mom. So you'll get to meet him another time.